This episode of Building Barrels is brought to you by the winds of Barbados. Please excuse their continued interruptions.
Welcome. Thanks for dropping in to Building Barrels, where we explore the technology, planning, and development of adventure centers using man-made waves to spread the stoke of surfing. My name is Michael, and I'd like you to join me in learning everything we can about surf park development. Together, we can build barrels in our hometown. Now, in this episode, we're going to continue our discussion about the Surf Park Summit, and here we are going to discuss two of the presentations, one of which is the history of surfing, which was actually more of an equity in surfing presentation, along with what women want in a surf park. And I'm putting them together because there was a lot of overlap between the two. So what do women want? They want pool boys. That's it. Thanks for dropping in. No, just kidding. They want a lot more than pool boys, but that was brought up. Or Cabana Boys, I think is the way that they put it. They want a lot more than just Cabana Boys, but they did mention that, so I figured I'd bring it up. But the panel was moderated by Shelby Stanger. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right, who's the founder of Wild Ideas Worth Living podcast, and Patty Panicia. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right as well. She's one of the first female pro surfers, I believe. And Izzy Tihani, hopefully I'm getting that one right. There are a lot of tough names here. She's the founder and CEO of Surf Diva Surf School. Sunshine Macaro, who was a former member of the USA Surf Team, and Sierra Kerr, who is a 13-year-old surfer on her way to going pro. Now, Patty had the presentation on the surfing history, and like I mentioned previously, it seemed more like an equity in surfing presentation, and I just want to touch on that briefly and then move right into what women want, because there's a lot of overlap between that presentation and what women want in a surf park. So she pointed out, which most of us probably know, that surf parks can reach out to those who have never been to the beach. Surf parks will be going inland into desert spaces, big cities, areas that are hours and hours and hundreds of miles away from the beach. And so there's a really good way that surf parks can reach those demographics. And speaking of different demographics, you don't want to forget about and exclude older demographics with the silver surfers that are out there. And she really stressed the equity for women in surfing. Your surf park really needs to welcome women and not just be a boys club. And your marketing needs to focus more on women because women rule the buying power that's out there. Women drive the 70 to 90% of consumer spending. They're outspending men on tickets and events for their families. And also, just as important is women are more athletic now than they had been in previous decades. There are a lot more women surfers out there, and so you really need to pay attention to them. So what do women want in a surf park? Well, the ingredients that a wave pool should have, they really focus on the ambiance, the authentic experience of your surf park. And again, I point out, they don't want it to just be a boys' clubhouse. You need to make it more inviting for women and steer away from the theme park atmosphere. You want to capture the surf culture rather than it be like a water park zoo. You don't want it to be just an attraction, but an authentic place that welcomes you with a very nice ambiance, with the landscaping, a back to nature kind of feel, lush trees, a tropical oasis kind of experience. You also want to hire women to work there as much as possible to make it less of a bro culture. Women also don't really like the arena aspect with a wide open space where everybody can be there watching you. They don't want to be judged. They want to see your surf park reduce the intimidation factor of learning in front of others, and they don't want to be watched constantly. And it might be kind of hard to do, but there was a suggestion of maybe have a B kind of stage where you can learn, someplace that's not quite as out in the open. The retail must also match the surf park. It should be welcoming and to have the same branding experiences as your surf park and make it feel like you're a part of something bigger. And then from Sierra, she wants to see airs, big turns, and barrels all in one pool. And that might be difficult to do, but the technology is developing, so we should be able to get there at some point. Additionally, women want to see the info in advance. They want to know the directions, how to get there, so that they can figure out the traveling and logistics of their experience with your surf park. They want to know what to expect when they get there and what to pack and what to bring along with that. They like to see clear, precise information, and they want to see it in advance, well in advance. And they don't want to have to make phone calls to try and figure this stuff out. So it sounds to me like having it clearly spelled out on your website is a pretty significant priority. Additionally, they want to know, is your surf park safe? Specifically in terms of child safety, but also the water quality, which we talked about in one of the previous episodes, as well as how safe the bottom is and maybe even what it's made of. Now, while women can be competitive, they're not as competitive as men. When it comes to surfing, they really like the fun and the joy of surfing, much like us men do too, but we tend to be competitive. But one thing that causes a lot of women to quit is their lack of improvement, and that's a big reason why women quit surfing. So your surf park would be a big factor in helping them continue with the sport. So you're going to need to have surf instructors or surf coaches, and they're going to need to be patient so that the women can enjoy the learning process. Additionally, your surf instructors, they must pass the mom test. And you need to make sure that you're hiring people that moms are going to be comfortable with. They need to have background checks, fingerprint checks. And you need to ask yourself the question, would you trust the coach with your 5, 10, 13, 15-year-old boy or girl? And so you really need to make it hard to get hired as a surf coach. They also want to see video coaching and video analysis. They want to see themselves recorded and analyze the video and work with your coach, review the performance, and get tips on how to get better. And this is really important for the progression because women want to work with a coach to help with their barrel riding, catching airs, and other moves. They also want to see a gym on site with surf-specific exercises and yoga. And Sierra thought it'd be a good idea, which is a very good idea, to have a 30-second delay on recordings to play back on your big screen so you can watch yourself while you paddle back out. And that's a pretty good idea. So moving on, except for waves, what would make your surf park a good experience? Food, food, food. They talked about food a lot, but good food and ambiance, which we got to earlier. Men are going to come to your surf park for waves, but women want to come there for the waves, but they also want food, margaritas, and massages. They also want to see childcare, kids play options, stuff for the entire family. They want it to be a destination. They don't want to come in for a quick surf and get out. So childcare is key to open up more women to be able to come and surf, or a space for young children to come and play. I'd like to see a supermarket on site, maybe with grills. They want to see local history and culture possibly. And they want to make sure that the temperature of your surf park is comfortable. They don't want to go surfing and then get cold. So hot showers, hot tubs, a sauna, heat lamps, wetsuit drying racks are all things that they mentioned might be a good idea. And finally, making new friends is very important to them. And so good hangout spots would be a good idea to plan into your development. Now, some other considerations for women in surf parks is crowd limits and etiquette. How is it going to work when there's a big crowd? And will they get their fair share of waves? And are there going to be controls in place to limit the crowds? They also are concerned about women-minded equipment. They want gear that can be replaced quickly and easily in case of a wardrobe malfunction. And they said that onesie bathing suits provided by the surf park would be helpful. And they're also going to be concerned about the music that's being played. They want to have music that's for the family and not just surfer grums. Certain kinds of music or songs like Gypsy Kings, Santana, get the cultural vibes going and get people feeling good and just create a good vibe for the spenders. And they'd also like to see making your surf park part of an after-school program, maybe linking up with some high schools or homeschoolers and creating some programs to watch their kids after school and allowing them to surf. And finally, once again, they do want good-looking Cabana Boys. They brought it up a couple times, so I figured I would need to bring it up a couple times as well. So that's it for this session of Building Barrels. Hopefully you have a better idea as to what women want in a surf park. And if you like this information, you found it helpful, please like it, share it, comment, and follow my channel. Or if you'd like to join a surf park mastermind group, click the link in the description below and I'll be in touch. And together we can build barrels all over the world. Thanks again for dropping in. I'm kicking out. See ya.